Ooh, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Prod.cast. I'm Andric.
I'm Basil.
And I'm SK.
And today we are going to talk about DNC culture. But before we head into that, I want to ask you guys, how have you been? I mean, realistically, it has been like less than a week since we last met for the final episode of Loki.
Yeah, a lot of things have happened in the past week. We suddenly found ourselves in another lockdown, sort of. I shall not call it lockdown.
Yeah. I'm absolutely furious about that, but yeah.
So stuff is out of our control. I think I feel that we're being punished even though we're following the rules. So I kind of feel frustrated about that.
I have different opinions about it, but I don't want to go into that. But basically, let's just say that I'm quite furious about the fact that, I mean, it's a simple thing that we try our best to follow what we can, and a bunch of people just sabotage everyone's hard work. And I have I have some plans with my girlfriend this coming National Day period, but everything got affected because of that.
What are you going to do? Renew your patriotism together?
and do you realize that you have basically just immortalized your relationship on the podcast?
Yeah, he just did.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't mind. Okay.
Yeah, so in case you listeners don't know, the day that we are recording this episode is the first day. First day?
Yeah.
Are we on 22nd? Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
first
day.
It's the first day of the new restrictions kicking in once again. And so we are back to phase 2 heightened alert. We have done a podcast episode about P2HA actually.
Yes.
And
yes.
and I guess in a grim way we've come full circle.
Oh, we are back. Yeah,
now we are doing
there.
another one here.
Yeah.
But okay, so we are back in P2HA. I mean, let's just talk about it a little bit because of a new cluster in the KTV and the Jurong fish pot issue. We are not gonna go into that today. We might do it in the future, not sure, and we can call that KTV culture. Because I mean, we are pseudo doing like a culture series, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Should we bring in someone more qualified to talk about KTVs? Because I do not understand KTV culture at all.
Neither do I. But I agree. We should bring in someone. So yeah, if you listeners want to hear about our thoughts on KTV culture, do let us know if you enjoy our culture series as well. So that's great.
Sure.
Okay, so the main thing that we're going to talk about today is my topic is called, I'm going to title it as DNC culture or bracket do not call culture or call culture for short. This idea came to me because, as you guys, if you follow our podcast or our YouTube reaction series, you will know that we all have full-time jobs. And most of us are in the production line, maybe except for SK, because SK is you're a tutor.
Right? Education line.
So, but he was formerly from it.
You used to be in the production line, so you do have production knowledge. Thus, we are called Prod.cast. I haven't received any requests for us to change our names yet, so I think we'll stick to Prod.cast.
No, it's okay. I don't think anybody has copyrighted it, so we're fine.
Yeah. I also haven't copyrighted it yet, lah.
I don't think you can.
At this point.
I don't think you can, but
I don't think we need to, because it's not like we are. I mean, as of now, we are non-profit, so so it's we are not a commercial brand yet, so we don't have to for now.
Yep.
And there's no IP per se.
Yeah, true.
But yes, so we all have our full-time jobs, and then I don't know about Basil and SK, but for me, when I do videography, I provide videography services to my clients. Right, so in the current trend, I would say a good 80% of the work that I do are property related. So my agents are my clients are majority property agents, and I deal with agents of different age range. Some are from the golden era, some are in the 50s, 60s, some are in the 30s, 40s, and some are young, like early 20s, maybe just passed the RES exam. And I noticed that everyone has a different way of communication, which I'm just saying specifically about my clients and me. Okay, I noticed that the younger generation prefer text, and they don't like to call. Whereas when the higher you go up in the age range of generations, they like to call. That might not necessarily be 100% true, because at the same time, it also depends on the upbringing of the person and the people that they surround themselves with, or like the environment. So I can have like a young 30s agent who is maybe a bit more of the Bing agent type, then they are more used to calling because they don't like to text. Okay, but I feel that me as a service provider, and I also do sales since I have to handle my clients, I very often have to communicate with my clients a lot, be
Yeah.
it from the inquiry portion or from asking about like, hey, how do we do a video, or when it comes to the editing or submission portion, there's a lot of communication all around in
Yeah.
terms of everything we do. I'm sure you are the same. I'm sure you are the same.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And I find that as the years go by, especially since COVID hit and we are all encouraged to stay at home, we get significantly lesser jobs and things like that. More and more people, including myself, are becoming more recluse. That's one way to look at it.
Yes.
Mhm.
But another way to look at it is we finally have the time to think about what we want, what we like, what we don't like, and to give time to ourselves. I mean, I'm sure you guys can remember whatever industry you might be in prior to COVID, our lives are quite busy. It's quite packed.
Yeah, that's true.
We have been brought up in a society and a sort of education that we center ourselves around work. That's why a lot of people see Singapore as a very hardworking country, and the people are very hardworking. I mean, if you go to France right now, for them 5 p.m. off work means off work.
Yeah. But I think that's just Singapore culture in general, because we've been taught that if you work hard, there will be a pot of gold waiting for you at the end of it. So that since independence, that's what the leaders at the time sold to our parents and their parents, and that's the culture that they have brought us up with. So unlike people like us who are, I would say, outliers, right? I think majority of the people in our generation still subscribe to that same that same mindset. Yeah, if you work hard, then there will be a reward waiting for you when you retire with your CPF and etc. etc.
Yeah.
But speaking of our generation, don't you think that we at least for the three of us, we are in a very unique spot of in between generations? We are before, like, what's the gen before us?
The gen before us would be the
Y.
Gen Y.
Gen Y, right?
Yeah.
That would be like maybe people who are slightly older than us, and we are in between Gen Y and Gen Z.
Yeah.
We are known
Yeah.
as millennials,
Yes.
technically. So I feel that we are in a very awkward generation, like sort of like stuck between a rock and a hard place, where there is a combination of two types. Some of us are more traditional, some of us are more new age.
Yeah.
Not that anything is wrong, okay?
Yeah.
But here's the point. Especially since COVID struck, it has given a lot of us, especially I would say people in my generation, because I talk to a lot of my friends, and we have developed new habits, definitely.
Yes.
So, like, for example, just for me, I don't want to speak for anybody else, I find that having the time to myself during circuit breaker and how life slowly began again when phase 1 started last year, June, I am more aware of the things that I like and I don't like, especially when it comes to communication. So in the past, even when a client texts me at 11, 12, 1 a.m., I will respond. Now, 1 year later, I'm at the point that you text me after 8, I will not respond to you. In fact, any of the contacts of my contacts who listen to me, who knows me, you know that if you WhatsApp me, you might receive an auto message.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I believe you guys have
Yeah.
kena a few times already.
Yeah.
So there are some people that, even though, because I can't control who the auto message gets sent to, because it gets sent to everyone.
Yeah.
But there are some people that I will reply, some people that I will not reply. And that started to make me become more of the person I am right now. So I just jump straight into the topic right now. I mean, after a bit of prelude.
Prelude.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes was all prelude.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, okay, I had this new client that contacted me, say, hey, I heard about you from somebody else, from word of mouth, and I heard that you do videos quite well. I want you to do a video for me for this project that I'm working on. So what are your charges like? So after all that, right, so we went into the pre-planning phase. He called me every day at 11, 12 a.m. just to ask for something simple like, what's the wardrobe? Or is the script ready? And things like that. And I started to get anxiety whenever I I hear my phone ring or I see it vibrate or I even see like somebody is calling. Because as someone in the service line, I feel obligated to answer the call. But yet, thinking about myself, putting myself first, my own mental well-being first, I'm like, no, because I want this time to myself. You know, it's time that I have carved out to be with myself, to do whatever the hell I want, even if I'm just laying there doing nothing. But it's the time for my brain to rest. So whenever I saw him calling me and texting me, I get anxiety, especially when it's after work hours. And I start to develop this thing where I don't like to receive calls anymore. I would rather people text me, because I'm sure, at least for you, Basil, I'm sure you know that text is black and white. Whenever a client asks you something or tells you something, it's always easier to leave it in text form, because when this client say, hey Basil, help me do something, and if they call you, you might be in the middle of something and you cannot get to it immediately. But you know that the earliest you can do it is maybe a couple hours from now. But if it's through a call, you can't remember. There is a chance that you can't remember.
True.
So I've always felt that text is better, and after going through all that, I'm even more like hands down on it, you know. So I started to develop anxiety whenever I receive calls from anybody, even my girlfriend. Okay, for a period of time. Then after that, I was able to compartmentalize, and if I see that the caller is my friend, I'm like, okay, that's fine, because most likely this friend wouldn't like it's not chasing me for stuff. Just asking, hey Andric, you free now? Let's go for lunch, let's go for dinner. And that's okay. Yeah. So there was just this one night where this particular client called me at 12-ish a.m. and I got a bit triggered. I got pissy about it. So I actually went onto Instagram and I posted a story. I mean, I'm 31 this year. I've honestly passed the phase where I rant on social media, but this one I just couldn't control because I needed to relieve myself in some way. So on Instagram, my exact post was, I think you guys saw it, was calling me without a prior text is like entering my home without knocking. It's rude and it's unwelcome. So back to the whole call texting, I started to develop like my own internal rules and laws, like what I think should be the standard procedure or SOP. You know, like before you enter someone's house, you won't just open a door. You will at least knock first. Right? Or if you want to call someone, I think it's polite to at least text a person, hey, I need to check something with you real quick, urgently. And it's easier for me to communicate to you via a call. Can I call you? Right? I think that's polite. Okay, but of course not everyone subscribes to this notion. So I don't blame my client for not knowing that. Just that at that point in time, I wasn't able to handle it emotionally. So I went to post this, and I actually had some replies like almost instantly. I'll read some to you. So some replies were on my side, like, yes, I can't stand it too, I prefer text. Sorry. And some replies were, why? So after going through and reading and replying to some of the replies, there were a few that stood out that I want to bring up to you guys. So one of the replies was from a fellow client of mine. Okay? His reply is why I want to do this episode. He said, really, bro? Agents always call eh. Then I'm like, yeah, I know. But some agents will still text me a free to talk message first, and I think that's quite nice. So some of them will still ask me, are you free? But some of them will just call you. Right? Then this is what he replied, and it scared the bones right out of me. He said, cannot lah. The lead will kill off like that. Must spring them like a trap. And this guy is a new agent. He's a rookie agent. Exactly. So that scared me because he's a new agent and he's been educated that way.
I smell brainwashing.
So now you understand why I want to do this episode. Because as a relatively new agent, okay, be it you're an agent or telemarketer or in the bank or insurance agent or someone just doing sales, cold calling is a normal part of life.
Yes, correct.
But if you've been educated in the way that you have to spring your clients like a trap, using his words, I think it's very scary. What are your thoughts?
I don't know whether this exactly falls into the DNC topic lah, but
It will.
My thoughts on it is I feel like I mean there's definitely some brainwashing involved. It feels like the kind where you go to some sort of like an investment seminar and then you suddenly get people start cheering about numbers and all that. You know, it just feels very cultish.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like very hive mind kind of thing. Yeah.
I work for a short while in the property industry. I was supposed to be a telemarketer, but was sort of I would say groomed a little bit to become a property agent, which I back out. I didn't complete the RES test that time. So my experience is it is what they have been, like what you said, the calling part, because what has been, okay, even though it's already more than 10 years ago, during all this thing that happened, the reaction is never ever text, because why? You want immediate response, you want immediate reaction, and most importantly, you need to treat everything like agents. Like there's a sense of urgency.
Strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, strike while the iron is hot. So you have
time waits for no man.
Yeah, something along the lines.
So like all this crap like that. Yeah.
So it drilled on to that. Even when I'm cold calling, I'm recording not every information from there. When they call, they have to also act fast, and they don't. Basically, what they are expecting is no messaging should be involved, because you will not have that sense of urgency. You should always make sure that everything needs to be contacted verbally, so that I can hear what you are thinking of, you can hear what I'm trying to get across. So that I didn't expect it. After 10 over years, this is still something that has been I wouldn't use the word brainwash, but it's still emphasized up until now. So I can understand where you're coming from, where the constant calling comes in, because when I was at that point of time, I sort of got into the idea that calling creates sense of urgency. That's also inbuilt in me.
It makes it feel important lah.
Yeah, it makes it feel important. So and the caller will also feel important. Will also feel important.
It's the caller who needs to feel that sense of importance.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, which is what sometimes I face from clients. Like honestly, I have stupid calls after a certain time as well, and they're asking me stupid things like, the shoot next week, the timing confirm already. I mean, like, hello, it's not tomorrow, it's next week. Can you like call me during office hours? Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, but I guess they just wanted to feel important. Yeah.
So here's the thing. That's from the point of view of a client who is already working with you. What scared me about that text message is that agent is proposing that it's on a cold call situation. So let's say new salespeople are trying to hunt for new clients.
Yeah.
So I understand how the cold call concept works.
Yes.
And to some degree, I agree. It might have worked 10 years ago, but I think we're in a new age now where maybe we can relook into this. I'm not saying that I expect cold call culture to be out completely, but maybe there should be some sort of a gateway. I'll get into that a bit later. Or at the very least, maybe new salespeople can be educated differently. Okay, because it's a very specific choice of words to say must spring them like a trap. It's a very specific choice of words. And I only see that he has been educated this way. His trainer or his mentor probably used the exact same words like him, and thus he thinks that, that's how the industry works. And yes, Basil, you are very, very right. That it is the caller that feels more important.
Yes.
But here's the thing. As a salesperson who is possibly hunting for new leads, is it important to the person on the other end of the call?
No.
Are you respecting his or her privacy or time?
They to be honest, they don't care about that.
Yeah. I'll give you an example.
So then how effective is that going to be?
Okay, I'll give an example of what I experienced. It still haunts me to this. Not haunts, but I still remember this. Because when I was doing my cold calling at that point of time, right, I was doing it at the wee hours during the period of time when I was doing cold calling. So it was usually after work. And when I called, the amount of people who responded positively is really a few. And
Say out of a ratio of 10.
then usually you'll be lucky if you get 4 positive response.
Or is a lot.
Yeah.
Or is a lot.
Realistically, out of 10 callers, out of 10 cold calls, how many of the 10 would react to you positively and give you the entire time that you asked for?
Max.
Conversion?
Conversion. Okay, let's not talk about conversion because that's another thing.
Why not talk about conversion?
Conversion, I can have 2 positive calls, but none can be converted.
So
There
the
you go.
conversion rate is 0 to 1 lah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but at the same time, I remember I got this very weird this call, and it's not weird, but it's a Caucasian who responded to me, and I remember he gave me this, but it was along of line of this. So when I gave my usual questions or speech that basically I've been trained to use, before I can even finish a single thing, that guy said, "You don't call anyone on this fucking hour in this fucking number and expect someone to be fucking nice to you. I'm so sorry about that, but seriously, shut the fuck up and hang up."
What time was it?
I think it was 9 plus. No, because I have to call all the way to 10.
PM?
I have to call all the way to 10.
Wow.
So
Shit.
yeah, and I remember it was early. It was more towards the the 9:05, 9:10 that kind of
Right.
timing. So I vividly remember like this. This is actually one of those, but this was the worst that I had
Wow.
during my time when I was doing cold calling. And I can tell you one thing is, when I brought this up to my bosses, the response were, "Oh, okay, it's okay. This is type of calls we have gotten used to already." So it led to me like, okay, so that's the one thing that apparently that I need to get used to. So if you say that the young Asian is using that mentality, yeah, because
I mean, yeah.
we have been drilled that rejection is part of life, and this kind of hostile call is just nothing.
I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like, coming back to what we spoke earlier about hard work.
Mm.
To them, they think if you make 1,000 calls and you get maybe 10, then you've put in your work, you know.
Yeah,
But I find it very incredibly unproductive. Yeah.
I agree.
it is.
I think maybe for people like me and you especially, whom are still in production, efficiency is important.
Yeah.
Quality of work is important.
Yeah.
So if one day I were to ever start doing cold calling, I would rather make 10 quality calls and get 8
Yeah.
quality leads
Yeah.
than make 1,000 haphazard calls and get
Yeah.
10 subpar
But
leads.
okay, let me ask you, have you
Yeah.
ever cold called or cold emailed any clients before? Potential?
Yes. Not call, emailed, yes. WhatsApp, yes. And even on my end, when I WhatsApp people during working hours, I get negative reactions as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean it will be a kind, like it will be considered kind if they just ignored you, to be honest.
Yeah. I've
But-
ever had an email before. I think this was a few years ago when business wasn't very good. So started to cold email. I just email. I had a sorry but nope. Wow, that one very.
No, but you see, here's the thing though. If you choose to cold email or cold message, you give that person an option.
Yeah.
You don't put that person you don't put that person in a committed time frame with you.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
like that person has to, whatever he or she is doing, put down their stuff and just focus on you.
Yeah.
You don't give
Yeah.
that you give the person the choice to reply to you at his or her own time.
Yeah.
If they do, great. If they don't, at least they don't feel negatively about you. I mean, even until now, I believe you guys are the same. You also receive random SMS. Hey, I want to bet on soccer. Hey, I want to. But you don't feel that pressure because it's a text form.
Yeah.
You have the choice to read it when you're free. You have the choice to respond if you are interested.
Yeah. Like I normally respond to those messages. Like I will just like, you say one bet on soccer. Yeah, say
You
bro.
will throw them lah.
Say bro, let's meet at Bedok police station.
You will respond.
No lah, never.
Yeah. I think that's where I can speak on that rationale. Why is it that they prefer cold calling as compared to doing all this cold emailing? Is because of that reaction that you just said. Like I said, property agents, they want immediate reactions. So to them, they don't want to. They have two mindsets here. One is they don't want to make yourself sound like they don't want to make themselves sound like they are just here to scam. That's one, which is a bit crazy. I know. That's what they have been constantly saying, that if you send SMS like the traditional way, like you send SMS, you send email, all these things, they will be treated like scam. So people ignore your messages. So that's where the second portion comes in. I am forcing you, or basically is to use a very aggressive way to force you to stop what you're doing to listen to me.
And it's also faster than emailing.
Yeah, it's also that's the reason. So it forces people to react.
I suppose they have a list of leads, right? And the fastest way to plow through all the leads is really just to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in a sick way, they are hungry lah. Yeah.
They have to, because the number of agents out there.
I mean, not don't even say property agents.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation before where business wasn't very good. Same situation, and then I've been asked how many times I emailed a new person. And then I just say I don't do cold emailing, and the immediate response was, I don't think you're working hard enough. So so I get stuff like that all the time. But I don't think cold emailing is very effective, to be honest. Yeah.
I don't think so. Any cold calling.
I don't think cold calling is effective either.
No, none of them are.
I do get random calls like let's say maybe
bank loan or
not just
bank
loans.
loan or
whatever, man, selling IT or whatever shit.
Yeah.
Asking me to do websites. I do get like random calls, and from some guy saying that I said okay, like we spoke 4 months ago, and I said it's okay for them to call me now. Then I'm like thinking, when the fuck did this happen? Yeah. But all these kind of stupid tactics that they just tell you to confuse you and waste your time.
Yeah.
So I will lump all this under cold lead hunting, which again, I'm at this point, even though I'm the one bringing up this topic, I'm not saying that cold calling or springing them like a trap is wrong. Just personally, with my character, I don't agree with it. In fact, I think if let's say today somebody was to trying to push me a product, be it insurance or even a new equipment or something, I will respond to it better if I'm not being put in a committed time frame of conversation with this person.
You don't want to feel pressured to respond lah.
Yeah. So like I would appreciate the time given to me or granted to me to analyze your email, analyze your text, go and do a bit of research before I choose to respond to you if I am interested. Because at least you give, I just think it's about personal space, and I think it's more respectful if you can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've come across anyone that has said, oh yeah, I love receiving cold calls.
No.
Nobody will say that. I doubt it.
So if nobody is saying that, why is it still going on? Why would they think that is effective? Because like you said, okay, say a agent has a list to plow through. Let's say this agent has 100 numbers. We live in the modern world. There are technologies in place. Even WhatsApp, you can choose to broadcast message. You can just save all these numbers in your phone or in your laptop or whatever, type out message once and broadcast to everyone. That's what I did for my business once. It was also a time where I wasn't doing very well and I was trying to come up with a new package. And instead of calling one by one, I took some time to craft a very salesy message. Hello, dear agents. I'm Andric from where and where and where, and I have this new video package at how much. Contact me if you want now. And in a matter of maybe 30 minutes, I plowed through 200 contacts. Even if you were to call, realistically, if you have to plow through 200 contacts, how long would it take? An hour, hour and a half?
3 hours. I did that.
I did it in 30 minutes. And I didn't put any of them in a committed time frame. They had the choice to respond to me or not. They had the choice to read it at their own leisure.
But
and I found that it was more effective, actually.
Well, it's definitely more effective that way. But you see, the argument on the other side of the coin would be, you still got to wait for the response. So your 30 minutes could become 1 week.
Yes.
If you're waiting for the response, or could even be never. So for them, the idea is simple. Once this guy never pick up or never, we cross it off the list.
Yes, that's the whole idea. So we pretty much just in fact, cold calling is actually just a lead generator. It's not even a lead to begin with.
It's not a lead. Yeah,
it's not a lead. So it's basically just generating possible
lead hunting lah.
Yeah, it's just lead hunting. So there's that mindset. Again, I think I'm one of those people right now that my mindset has always I have changed. Like I used to be that believe that had that mindset. I even brought up to Basil years ago when we started Toko Share Pictures. How about we just do cold calling?
Yeah, I refuse.
Yeah, and he refused at the time.
I
and
refuse.
Yeah, and as time goes by, I realized this is one of the useless idea to generate any lead.
I refuse.
Yeah, in fact, I honestly say that I can use that same amount of money to buy. You need to buy those numbers actually. I can use that amount of money that I bought for those numbers. I can just put it inside an advertisement on Facebook. I can generate that.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I can generate even more
Yep.
leads as compared to I try to harass people.
Harass might be too strong a word lah.
Okay, or to call people.
Yeah.
And or even to send an email, in hopes that there will be a lead that is generated. Because at the end of the day, you still have to understand that leads are just leads. They will not be converted. You also need to consider that there will be a lot of conversion rates that will, or a lot of things that needs to consider in terms of conversion rates, and many of these leads might not even convert at the end of the day. So that is that idea, or that if you waste this amount of time, spend this amount of money, and you only get this little lead, that later on it will only be that few that converted, it's pointless. Yeah. I get why properties still do it, but at the same time, they have to find another way, in my opinion, because too many agents are doing too many of this cold calling. And
Exactly. That was the next point I want to bring up, because you see, no matter what, in a country like Singapore, let's not talk about other countries. In a country like Singapore, there is a finite amount of people,
Yes.
right? And yet the number of salespeople, not just property agents, are constantly growing every day. There are more and more people joining the financial industry, more people that join the insurance industry, the property industry, any industry that does sales,
Yes.
right? So the same person, the same random civilian could have gotten the same call for the same product from 5 different people on the same day itself. So, so I feel, if anything, what will make you stand out is if you are able to, instead of calling, send a text, send a, even if it's hard sales, send a hard sales looking text or email, but you craft your pitch nicely, maybe more accustomed. That might actually set you apart from the 4 other people who called this morning. Right, so when I did my cold texting back then to try and garner more business, I know what I actually did. I actually went around HDB blocks just to collect all the property agent flyers. And I saved her numbers. That's how I got my leads.
Nice.
Right. And instead of broadcasting, right, so I did craft like a message, like the body is the same, but I always make sure that whenever I text someone, it's hi Kenny, or hi Karen, or hi Joseph. I make sure that at least at the very start it's customized and it's not like some Autobot. Autobot.
Well, at least you weren't cheating or decepting anybody.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god.
But yes, so through my findings, I mean, I have personally never tried cold calling, so I cannot give my opinion from that side of the playing field. But through my findings, that even by putting in a little bit more effort in just changing the name before you send to that particular person, it garners a little bit more credibility, and more people will actually respond, oh no thank you, I don't need it right now, because they know that when they receive that text, it's being addressed to them directly. So one other thing that I want to bring up is there is sort of relative to this topic. Is while we were talking about it, I actually recalled this incident that I saw a few months ago. You've heard of Sharon Au?
Sharon Au, yeah.
Sharon Au is no longer in Singapore, no longer in MediaCorp.
She's in French. She's in France, not French.
She's in France.
Les Français, viva la France.
And she joined a French company. And an article about her that released maybe 2 years ago.
I remember the article.
Basically said that she sent a work email to her colleagues. Her colleagues are people that she see every day at 8 p.m. The next day, they reported her to HR.
They filed a complaint,
So I don't really know what's the direction I'm driving in. I just feel that it's a topic that I want to bring up to you boys and we can talk about it. But as the times move on, now we're in the year 2021.
Yeah.
10 more years from now, how would communications be like? What is the expectation of sales and leads and most importantly, people on the receiving end of it? Right? Should we move along with the times and use better, efficient, less intrusive ways of communication? Or is the old ways, the traditional ways, there for a reason and effective for a reason?
I don't know how effective the traditional ways are, but I think a lot of it also boils down to the fact that we as Singaporeans generally, as a whole, we don't know how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's why it's easier to call a number, strike it off a list, as opposed to crafting something that's personalized and that has thought put into it. Yeah. We first, we don't know how to communicate. Number two, we
think about ourselves
we
first.
think about ourselves
Yes,
because we think,
yes.
oh, I don't want to waste my time on this.
Exactly.
Yeah, if nothing is going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So these are the two things that I think still contribute to this this culture happening lah. And I think it's gonna take a lot to change it.
Because you see, it doesn't make sense to me, as a salesperson, you want to get a lead. So you want to sell this person something, a product that will help this person, essentially.
Yeah.
So you should have this person's interest at heart. But from the very get-go, right off the gate, you are already doing something that is suited to your interests instead of
they're
mine.
gunning for the commission and
So as the person on the receiving end, why should I entertain you?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They want to do the least work with the most reward ma. Yeah. So they don't want to put in so much effort if whoever they're trying to convert into a lead is not biting.
On the contrary, cold calling it takes a lot of effort. I would genuinely say that doing that for 2 years at that point of time, it was torture. It was really a torture, and trust me, it's not a good experience at all. But I would, maybe because I'm such a historical geek that sometimes I know why.
Historical geek.
I mean, history geek that I know why.
Okay.
Like, cold calling back then, you're talking about 80s and 90s. Yeah, sure, it's good idea because you are exposed. A lot of the products are not exposed out into commercials. Do we need to continue? Yeah. Okay.
Just go lah.
Yeah. A lot of this news, basically, like when the only way you can get through someone is basically you can try to call someone to get them to know about certain products, because by the time they know it, it's already too late if it's already out in the open. So people had that.
You finish first. You finish.
Yeah, people had that kind of a mindset that there's a sense of urgency. You need to know this product soon and fast. We're at a stage whereby anything that we know or see, basically we immediately know it on the internet already. So it is pointless to continue cold calling because I probably know more, or I probably knew it earlier than even the people who cold call me, or I even know more than them. So it led to a point that you are trying to sell me something which probably I already know I'm not interested. So that is my mindset, that I would rather spend those time marketing it elsewhere. At the end of the day, cold calling is nothing more than just a marketing tool. So that's my opinion. But I'll probably say that for any property agents, the idea that they are still drilling is rejection. You need to learn how to be rejected. You need to learn how to get negative reactions to get yourself persevere towards getting the one lead or that one conversion that can bring you a better life or bring you a good sales. And from there you will know how to, I would say, personalize the way that you speak to the people. And most importantly is that is hard work to them.
So there is a reason why I set up the prelude before I went into it. Times are changing.
Yeah.
We are moving forward. Even as people, our characters are also evolving, depending on... This episode is not sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Oh dear.
Coca-Cola.
It can be heard lah.
I actually wanted you to open it next to the mic and was make that gag joke. But anyway, okay. So back to what I was saying. There is a reason why I set up that prelude, because times are changing. We are evolving. Right now, because of this pandemic, we are evolving even faster to different types of people with different types of characteristics.
Yeah.
10 years from now, there might be something else that happens that changes people's the general population's characters again. Like I said, because of this, at least for me, it has made me a bit more recluse. It's made me a bit that I treasure my personal time now. Right?
Yeah.
So if it's the case for me, who's to say it's not the case for many other people out there?
Yeah.
So that's my point of the prelude. Times are changing, people are changing, methods need to change as well. That's why I set up the prelude, because I think that while it's still not wrong to subscribe to the traditional idea or notion of cold calling, springing people like a trap, you will need to face the facts that one day, don't know when, your methods have to change, or you have to be open to change.
Okay.
And I think that is an interesting dialogue to have. Maybe in the future, if we can ever invite like a salesperson into our podcast and to ask them what they think of the changing times.
I don't know if I can honestly say this. Okay, one more point to point it out.
There
isn't that many property agents.
No lah, don't have to keep using property agents.
Okay.
Just
I mean,
salespeople in general.
Yeah, okay, salespeople. There's running sales is one thing, but there was a time where people go door to door just to knock on the doors.
They are still doing that.
Yeah, they're still doing that. And the thing is, there's also that mindset that I think a lot of salespeople needs to keep in to know is there wasn't a lot of people doing sales in the earlier days, and now everyone around you can turn around your head and you likely have one guy who needs to run sales for regardless of whatever companies that they are working with. So
it's like trying to hit water on a boat.
Yeah. And I think that one thing that is concerning is not a lot of people try to think innovatively or think out of the box in terms of trying to get sales. That is there's a lot of these are passed down by people in the past because it worked back then and they still think that it works now. But no one actually look, like what you said, no one actually look into the fact that it's not working at this current
they
age.
They don't consider other people's feelings anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. They don't consider the feelings of the person on the receiving end.
They don't. They are conditioned not to.
It's interesting. Yeah, you are right. You're 100% right. It's interesting that you mentioned that they used to do door knock. Dude, even before door knock, okay, in the 50s, 60s, I don't know when was the phone created. I'm not too sure. But
1938, Alexander Graham Bell.
Whoa.
I think so.
Okay, but in the era of time where phones were not in everyone's homes.
Could be earlier.
Right?
Yeah.
In the era of time, even in Singapore, I would dare say in the 50s or in the 40s, not everybody has a phone in their home.
Yeah.
And even if they had, it's at most a landline.
Yes.
Right? How did people who run their own businesses, like those mama shop or what, or hardware shop, get the word out? Posters lor.
Yeah.
But you see, that's a very non-committal thing. You leave it there, anybody sees it, reads it. If they're interested to buy things from you, they will go to your shop.
Yeah.
They will patronize you.
Yeah.
In the modern age, leaving a poster on the wall is the equivalent to posting an ad on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? It's very non-committal.
Yes.
Correct.
You see it, fine. You like it, you click into it. It's as simple as that. That's why I don't understand why in the current year, in the current era, in the current century, is cold calling still a thing? I mean, I'm aware that you all have explained already, but I still disagree with this this method of sales in the current time.
It is not it doesn't work, but again, it boils down to like we said, the people before them told them that this works, and then after that
they are probably educated that way by their mentors. So say for the door knocking, I know for a fact that my property agents, aside from cold calling, they have this exercise, this group exercise where like maybe after working hours, 7, 8 p.m., where people are supposedly at home already, they go from HDB block to HDB block, go and door knock, and hi, I'm an agent from this company, and I just want to pass you my name card or my flyer. If you're ever looking to sell or buy a house, or so at the same time, I understand why they are doing that, but if I was on the receiving end, I wouldn't be too friendly, because I'm sure even right now you're also experiencing that in your own homes.
Yep.
They before the pandemic, they even went to revitalize one of the most annoying marketing technique ever by having Stanleys and stand on the street and try to, share. No, I have something here for you, just to entice people to come and.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't because
Would you like a power bank?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of COVID. You don't see that now anymore.
Yes.
You don't see. You can happily walk past train stations without getting stopped.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that. And I've actually heard before, right? Like, I've actually followed this group of agents who hired me to follow them for 2 hours to shoot their door knocking event. And in that group, right, there are experienced agents and there are rookie agents. And when they get their doors shut in their face, which is totally expected, their mentors teach them that it's okay, it's good. This would train you to be more thick-skinned.
Yes.
You want to do sales, must be more thick-skinned.
Yes.
And I think that's, as what Basil said, it's a form of brainwashing. It makes them feel that this is how sales is done.
How to say,
Whereas there are many other avenues that you can do sales.
How to say, it's in a way I feel like a lot of things in Singapore subscribe to this rite of passage kind of idea. Like when you enter something, like for example, you enter school, you enter a job, or you enter your national service, you are supposed to go through a checklist of A to Z items before you are considered one of us.
Yes.
So that's probably something along the lines of that lah.
Like or more of the fact that since it's not just, I will put it this way, it's not just that kind of messaging, right? Even if you listen to most of the people who are doing sales speeches or public speaking about sales, they always tell you this: you need to learn how to handle rejection well. So that was the so-called thick skin part. So they force you to you need to make sure that you need to know how to handle rejection well, so that you can, either persevere, or B, think of ways to make sure that you can actually get the people or convince or persuade the people that you are trying to get sales from. So that led to that nature that you will see this type of mindset happening, that they force you to be thick-skinned. And like I mentioned, it forced them to really no longer consider the other party's feeling.
Correct.
And it actually boils down, and it actually led to the real life, or their own private life also. If you notice that majority of the salespeople, they don't really in their real life care about other people's feeling at times.
Previously you mentioned about the rejection and then the thick skin, right? You made a very good point, because I feel like the core message is not wrong.
Yes.
Like the core lesson is not wrong. This, you have to learn to deal with rejection. That is not wrong.
Yes.
Okay, that is part of life.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But the rationale for the rationale and the learning outcome is wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you learn to deal with rejection so that you can be more thick-skinned. What the fuck is that?
Then I told you that I followed that group to shoot, right? So like to document it and then to make it into like a marketing video.
Yeah.
You know what I learned at the end? To them, what really mattered to them at the end of the night, right, was taking photos of each other, hiring a professional to do a video of them, just so that they can show off on social media that, hey, we are doing work.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which ties into
exactly
what he just said.
What SK said.
Yeah, what he just said,
Yeah.
So then that's where I don't understand.
It's a whole culture, a whole rite of passage kind of thing.
Yeah.
DNC culture.
Yeah, it's a whole damn thing. It's,
Yes.
It's an institution that you can't break down easily.
Yeah.
No, I have no intention to break it down easily. That's not why I'm doing this. But I'm just hoping that by doing this, we can at least start a dialogue. Hopefully, if any salespeople were to listen to this, you are hearing it from the other side, from the receiving end of your phone calls.
Yes.
The people who go through it 5, 6, 7 times a day, receiving random calls from random people trying to push us products, how we feel about it and how we think that it can be improved based on the times that we are going ahead. I mean, of course, you as a caller, you won't know the other person on the receiving end. Is he an introvert?
Correct.
Is he an extrovert? You won't know.
Correct.
But try exploring other avenues.
Correct.
You are in the modern world with advanced technology. Use that. Don't just keep using the old traditional ways. There is a reason why your mentors teaching you all those are of a certain age, because that's all they're used to.
Yes.
Yeah. I think in order to trigger this kind of development, you have to sell it to them in a different way. Yeah, you have to tell them why this way doesn't work. Not why this way doesn't work, but why this other way is better.
There's a reason.
Because the more you tell them it doesn't work, the more defensive they will be.
Yes.
I think it's not about telling them why it doesn't work or why it's better. It's to let them know that it's not the only way. There are other ways to approach sales. There are more less intrusive ways, or less just less intrusive ways to approach someone completely out of the blue.
Okay, I personally, this one probably have to point out to property also, because as I mentioned, my time as a cold caller, I mean as a telemarketer in ERA back then.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was. And
you should tell me off camera later. Who was your boss? I might know that person.
Okay.
Anyway, go.
I hope I still remember that name.
Please don't share it on this episode. Right
okay. Anyway, I still remember vividly that I was sitting in the office, and right in front of me was that top 500. You know, the top 500 real estate agents award, where you have the bunch of people there, and then at the bottom you have all the small little property those winners who are just, they are just small thumbnails of them, their head. Yeah, it's something like what Basil has been posting. It's like the kind of very small little thumbnails of themselves. And then you look around, and I sat down, and I was thinking about it. Like, look at this. It's like 500, but only the few were the ones that people will probably see, while the rest of them are probably, just at the bottom. And then you have a lot more who are not featured in that top 500. And it made me felt that, how many property agents are there? And I was working in just one in just one company at the time. Like there was a Dennis Wee at that time, BWG, and there were a lot more.
How many agents were you calling for? Like, how many agents were you representing as their telemarketer?
Only two.
Only two out of the few thousands in Singapore.
And then it led me to think one very important thing is, how do they try to get themselves to stand up? Which till now I still didn't see a lot, until I think a few years ago when I started looking at all the videos of those viral ones where they make themselves look so bad that it became very good. But, but in fact, those resonated with me. Like, they stood out. They pretty much got themselves.
Definitely.
And then it made me feel like
the song.
They do videos so good that it will blow your mind. Oh, I love that video so much. Oh my god, we need to talk about that someday.
So at the end, again, out of the thousands and thousands of property agents, these are the ones that I can really, or made an impact on me over the last 10 years, knowing, like, still keeping track on this industry and all. So it made me feel that why didn't any one of the other insurance agents thought about thinking out of the box? This is also something that I genuinely think that someone needs to bring them to realize that first. Not to say that their approaches are wrong, but if you have thousands of people doing exact same thing, what makes you think that you will be the one getting your leads to be converted into, say, a seller or a buyer in that case?
On this topic, right? My at this point of the conversation, I have something else to bring up.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Black Mirror?
Yeah.
It's a TV show, right?
Yeah.
The TV show.
So Black Mirror is a series that deals
It's sci-fi basically.
that basically talks about how technology affect us on a different level.
Yes.
So there is a Taiwanese version of Black Mirror. I mean, they obviously copy the format of the show lah. But there was one episode that caught my eye. Not exactly called that lah. I can't remember the name of the show now, but there was one episode that is actually about this. That the government, the people have voiced their concerns of receiving sales calls to the point that the government has come up with a gateway system where you are not able to receive calls until you choose to accept. In a way, I mean, okay, let me dive deeper into it. So let's say today I'm a salesperson. Okay, let's say I'm a property agent or I'm an insurance agent, and I want to push a new insurance policy to Basil, who I have no idea. Like, I don't know Basil as a person. Right? Before I could even hit call, they set up an app in everyone's phones, and it's all installed in everyone's phones. Before I even hit call, I need to send him a link request, and when he press accepts, it pulls up my entire information of who I am. It has my photo, it has my name, it has my age, it has everything you need to know about me as a salesperson. And then it even says the motive of calling, because I'm an agent and I want to sell you a new product. Like I want to share with you. And you then have the choice to unlock your phone for that call only. And this is just in that world. This is the only thing that's different. But it showed so much progress. I mean, sure, it showed that some of the salespeople who are more aggressive are suffering, but when the government in the show reported the internal sales is a lot higher than other countries.
Yeah, actually, we did try it before. Singapore actually did try it before when putting in.
Did we?
Yeah, but not to the extent. But it's just a simple, like, you know, put your list on. If you don't want to get cold calling, just put your numbers on the
DNC
list.
registry lah.
Yeah, DNC register. So that's all they did. And in fact, at the end of the day, that stopped all the cold callings from local.
Here's the thing: DNC registry, while it exists in Singapore, it only it caters more to people who don't want to receive calls.
Yeah.
Right. So because of this, I also recently put my name in the DNC registry.
Yeah.
But what that show did, what they made different is it's not really a DNC registry, but it's more like when you receive a cold call, part of the anxiety that kicks in is you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Sometimes this person doesn't even tell you his or her name.
Yeah.
Even if they do, it's like, oh, hi, I'm John. But the thing is, they're fucking like thousands of Johns out there,
Yeah.
right? So all they did was they introduced an app that lets you even see the person's face. You have a picture in your mind. You have a face. You can put a face to the voice, and you can already sort of in a way prejudge this person based on his or her information that apparently that can't be faked lah. And you decide whether you want to receive a call from him or her or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it even showed, right, like this person how successful they are, how many awards they have won, everything in detail, you know.
Wow.
And then that gives the recipient a very good choice on whether you want to receive this call from this person or not. So that actually made the salespeople, like, because of this app system in place, it made more quality salespeople.
Yeah.
In that world, they actually worked harder to get more recognition, to get more awards, to get more quality in their craft before they can even be unlocked to talk to someone on the phone.
Yeah. I actually, to be honest, right, I'm very supportive of this mindset because I don't know, there's this mindset right now that people think that, you know, you want to make more money, you go to sales. If you cannot find any you don't have any special talents, just go to sales. If you have
no education, go to sales.
Yeah, go to sales. Like, it's almost like this is like almost the go-to job if you realize that you have nothing. And it led to a very oversaturated market to the point that, you know, you see every single Tom, Dick and Harry, they claim that they run sales, but how many really succeed? So I find it, yeah.
How many people really succeed is one thing. Okay, before I move on to the next thing I want to talk about, I do want to say first, what me and SK just talked about, we are not saying that I mean, yes, we joke, but we are not saying that people who are doing sales are not educated or don't have anything else to do or no skills. We are not saying that. Just saying
just
that,
disclaimer.
that there are people saturating the market.
Yes.
Okay, but I think more to your question is how many people really care about the people that they are selling to?
Yeah.
How many people really care about are really passionate in sales, and I believe in selling this product because I really believe in it.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, that's what I was
Compared to how many people who are doing it just to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
I'm sure you all know also I'm sure you all have. I know personal insurance agents who truly are passionate about what they do. They truly believe in policies because they think that is really protection for you and your family.
Yes.
But I also know people who join the industry because they think, or they've been educated in a way that it's the fastest way to earn money. It's the fastest way to get you that Maserati or get you that Rolex watch.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely something that people should really think about. But
of course, we are veering off topic a bit lah.
Yeah, no, as in I'm pointing it out that using that kind of a ability to force people to really be passionate. Those people who are willing to do it, those people who are passionate about their craft, are going to be the one who, like you said, using that particular registry is able to get
that
them.
app system tells the recipient how serious of a salesperson this person is.
Yes, and 9 times out of 10 you get someone who is doing sales, and it's not just buying, it's also the responsibility of the after sales.
Exactly.
So how many people legitimately, like, if you are, unless you're that passionate, I know a few insurance agents who are really that passionate enough that they are willing, they don't just focus on getting you to sign up for that contract. They are going to spend their free time, if you have anything happen to you, to go over just to help you and to assist you, all these things. And I know some insurance agents who are like that. So at the end of the day, right, you want people like them to be around.
Of course.
Yeah.
But we don't know who, it's just one big sea of sales
Exactly.
people around.
And that show introduced this app system that lets people know that.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel, one of the things that we are lacking now. Why people are so adverse to receiving cold calls, because we don't know who we are talking to. Yes, you tell me that you're an award-winning agent, but that's you tell me on the phone one. How do I know for sure? I don't even know how you look like. I don't even know how old are you, how experienced are you. I don't even know if I like your face or not. I mean, to put it very bluntly. Right? I mean, honestly, we might be doing production, but we deal with clients all the time.
Yeah.
We know that working together, even partnering with someone who might be an investor in a company or is a new partner, you need to like this person first in order to even be able to work together.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
definitely
right. Agree.
Yeah. So veering off topic. I mean, let's come back to the main topic, which is the whole DNC thing.
Yeah.
I think for me, to end off my thoughts on the whole topic, and after learning about what you guys think, I think I learned a bit more, and I am moving in a direction where I hope in the next 5 years, 10 years, sales techniques can evolve, can change, can give people the option of a less intrusive way, even something very simple design like you are receiving an incoming request from, for example, Johnny Tan. Do you prefer phone call or text or email? At least on your smartphone, you had the choice to pick, or I prefer WhatsApp. Then this person knows that, okay, I can't call this person, I WhatsApp. Or email, or okay, I free now, call or. At least it gives people that freedom to choose.
Yeah. Definitely.
What about you guys? What are your ending thoughts on this? Or if you have anything else to add on?
You go first.
I'm still a believer that any cold calling is really something that should be the last resort that anybody should look for, and the priority should always be being innovative. That's something that I still believe in, and quite honestly speaking, a lot of this mindset needs to be cultivated. It cannot be just I say it out and my words for it, but just to see the results of the people who are doing it differently, and from there learn how to generate better quality, or to be quality sales as compared to quantity. Which right now the mindset is quantity over quality. So I find that is more important as a salesperson than anything else. Probably because I'm also I'm marketing trained, so I kind of use that mindset quite strongly as well as a marketing person in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think cold calling is gonna stay. It's not gonna change. But at least for people that you have already gone past that stage with, I think at least people should be more proactive about respecting boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at least arrange a time if you wanna talk on the phone. Send me a message before you wanna
Yes.
Definitely.
call. Yeah.
Yes.
And if it's work related, find out what my office hours are, and don't call me after those office hours.
Yeah.
And if it's urgent,
At least drop me a text first.
Drop me a text first.
Right. So I have a few more ending thoughts because you mentioned that. I know I started off this episode, with complaining or ranting about the client who kept calling me. But I also want to say that I have recently also experienced some other clients that I started to work with, that when I met them in person, then so I met this new agent. He also heard my name from somebody else, and he called me.
Yeah.
And when he called me over the phone, I was in the middle of editing work, so my mind was very focused. And when he called me, it broke me out of my momentum, and I wasn't able to respond. I would say extremely warmly. I mean, I was polite. I was okay lah, but I wasn't like, hey, what's up, bro? Yeah, okay lah, can lah. I wasn't able to react that way.
Yeah.
Because after all, I'm in the comfort of my own home. Okay. Then. But they wanted to know me through the phone a little bit, then meet in person and what. Then I finally met them in person, and I sold them on my personality quite well because I had time to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the meeting, I actually asked, so guys, what do you think of this meeting? Like, how do you think it went? Okay, I asked for feedback after the whole meeting finished, which I don't think a lot of people do now, by the way, but it's a different topic.
Yeah.
He said, so the guy was in the meeting with others, and he said, bro, I'll be honest with you, you don't angry. When I first contact you, right, and I talk to you on the phone, I feel that you're not very interested. You're not very interested to want to do business. And he was calling me to give me opportunities to work with them, to pay me in a way.
Yeah.
Then I said, oh, no lah, sorry because I got a bit of anxiety issue, and I am a bit of an introvert on my own free time. So when I receive calls out of a sudden, I don't know how to react sometimes, especially if I'm focused doing something else. So I took my time to explain to him. He understood. From then on, he took the effort. Every time before he called me, he'll be like, Andric, are you free? I need to ask you something, and I think it's easier to ask on the phone. He always put it in that format from then on. And I felt that was so respectful.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
That was so respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then even now, right, like he called me 2-3 days ago at 10:40 over PM because he wanted to ask me, hey Andric, now the new restrictions thing, how can we still move forward with our shoot? I'm supposed to have a shoot with him next week, but before he called me to ask, he texted, hey bro, you free to talk? I have to ask you something urgent. And I'm like, okay. I took 5 minutes to compose myself and like, yes, I'm free. And he called me and I reacted to him warmly.
Yeah. Of course, it's all about figuring out whether it's a business meeting, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's after okay, for me, I'm okay if people call me during working hours, but if you want,
I'm okay too.
Yeah, if you want to call me outside working hours, at least find out if I'm available first.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect the boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had an instance where I reach home, put my food in the oven, just surf the internet for a while, go and shower, come back and get my food ready to turn on the show. Suddenly client call, and I didn't pick up. The motherfucker continued calling me for the next hour.
Oh my god.
And it was close to midnight already, or even past midnight, I can't remember.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
That's really not healthy.
Yeah.
That just tells me, if I am where I am now and I receive this kind of thing again, I won't even go into business with you, because it tells me how little you respect me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just reply like after I finish my movie, what you want?
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, it's right on you to say that.
Yeah. But I still reply no. I just waited for the next morning.
I will.
Yeah.
Actually, I had that before, and I just conveniently just.
Yeah, but
wrote for the next one.
I wanted to send a message to him
Mm.
because my movie finished close to 2 a.m.
Oh, okay.
What you want?
Okay.
Yeah.
So as my final ending note, I want to share something with the fellow listeners. I mean, especially if you are in sales. Because of this whole topic, I've been talking to various people before we even decided to record this episode to make it more official.
Yeah.
I spoke with a friend. She is currently studying law and psychology,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very tough field, by the way. So
Both
So-
are tough fields.
Yeah.
So-
Law and psychology.
kudos to her. But because of that, she was able to share her thoughts, and I think it's very well put. So I'm going to read it out
Sure.
loud now. She said that, in her opinion, text are actually giving people space to engage at their own time and comfort.
Yes.
She relates that perhaps not to the same degree where you get anxiety, but she would rather prefer people texting rather than calling, especially for work, as paper trails retain information better, and to text first before calling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the legal side of her talking.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Which
Yeah.
is true. I've had disputes before where all I needed to do is to just pull up a few texts and then bam, that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
I am a guy who likes to call, but I'm gradually, I have slowly moved towards texting a little bit more, partially because 9 times out of 10, whenever I start doing any calling, there will bound to be something that forces me to regret that I didn't actually have a text where there's something to protect myself. So yeah.
And then I shared with her a bit more about what the rookie agent said to me, and she just posed a very simple question that I'm posing to all the sales people out there who are listening to this. When you call someone, when you spring them like a trap, what's your success rate? If
Yeah.
it's high, good for you. Then you prove me wrong. But if it's not high, then maybe you should think about the way you are moving forward with your current sales techniques.
I agree.
Pretty much, yes.
I agree.
So, I mean, ultimately, when you are selling something, be it cold call or text or email, you are looking to sell something.
Yeah.
Correct.
And if your success rate is high, that's all that matters. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think you can't sell anything if you piss off your customer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, lor. So with that, I don't have anything else to add on. Do you guys have?
No.
No.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna end off this episode right here. It's like 1 hour 20 minutes already.
Wow.
That's
Fast,
like,
right?
Yeah.
wow, that's a long topic.
It
just
really
flies, yeah.
flew past.
Yeah.
Time really flies.
So, if you guys have any thoughts that you want to share with us on this topic, we welcome it. You can actually go to our YouTube page, because this podcast will also be in a visual format on YouTube. You can share your comments there, but please don't. You can share your opinion, but please don't start fights or insult anybody that shares a different opinion from you. And yes, we do want to hear your side of things, because it sounds like the three of us are on the same side. But yeah, in the future, if we are able to bring in somebody else that can share a different side, we probably will, because I think it's fair to listen to all sides.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So with that said, we're gonna end it off here. You can find our podcast on Spotify and Google Podcasts. We also do visual reactions to Loki and Ultraman Trigger. Loki is already done. I don't think it's fully uploaded
it's not.
yet by the time you're hearing this. So do catch us on all these platforms, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you.
Bye bye.